just to set the scene before start, just thought I'd have a bit of a thought for everyone. So there's an estimated 640,000 tons of fishing nets that get left in our oceans every year, which is the largest polluter in the ocean. So just to visualize how much that is, if you imagine an industrial-sized fishing net stretched over just a normal football pitch, you'd need about 110,000 football pitches before you ran out of those fishing nets, which is quite a frightening thought. So if you imagine a world where all clothing was made from recycled materials such as waste fishing nets, at Ghillied, that's our vision, to become a global leader in planet-friendly recycled clothing by creating a circular economy of clothes. My name's Rory, and I'm the founder of Ghillied. I think my camera might have frozen, so I'll leave it on for a wee second and see if it fixes itself, but I'm not in too bad a pose if it doesn't. So yeah, Ghillied, we launched in 2021 and are based in Edinburgh. So we currently offer a range of recycled ladies' leggings. So yeah, we've got a very, very big vision. Small business at the moment, however, we're very ambitious, very motivated, and very inspired. So I'm the odd one out, I think, without any slides, but what I'd love to do is basically just tell you our story. So basically from how we started off as a brand to where we are now, what our kind of growth ambitions are, and basically how the circular economy ties all of that together. So we've also got a very exciting project ongoing at the moment to regenerate our old leggings into new products. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you as well. So like many businesses, Ghillied was created as a product of lockdown. So personally, I had a very busy life kind of pre-COVID, which meant I didn't really look after myself physically, but always kind of got away with it because I was generally quite a kind of healthy person. But yeah, as horrible as lockdown was, tried to go into it anyway with a healthy mindset. Hated being away from my partner Abigail, who was my girlfriend pre-COVID and is now my fiance post-COVID, as well as the co-founder of Ghillied. She's not with me just now, but she's here in hearts and minds. So I wasn't able to see her because we lived in different cities, or my friends or my family, plus I was living by myself at the time. This being said, I was quite relieved personally on day one of lockdown because I hadn't really had the time to kind of look after myself. So I realized I wouldn't probably have that time again in life when you were able to kind of just do nothing and focus on yourself and being healthy, basically. So in lockdown, spent a lot of time outdoors, exercising every day, eating a lot better than normal, reading books that I hadn't done for years, sleeping a lot better. And it took me probably a couple of weeks into lockdown to rediscover my first real passion in life, which was exercise and just a healthy lifestyle in general. So I was having surges of energy that were quite rare, to be honest, surges of clarity that I hadn't had for years. And yeah, just felt really reconnected, I suppose, with the outdoors. That was a very, very invigorating experience. So took lots of inspiration from seeing global ecosystems flourish during lockdowns, and just felt a huge kind of sense of purpose, I suppose, to do my bit to protect the immediate Scottish outdoors for a start, from which I'd almost felt a lot more reconnected with. An e-commerce brand was always something that I'd had a lot of interest in, and sustainable clothing made perfect sense to combine Abigail and I's experience. So that's what we created with Ghillied. So we've built the foundations of a lifestyle brand that has the potential to have a meaningful impact on the health of the planet, and is basically inspired by the outdoors and a healthy lifestyle. So my background's in insurance and sales, and yeah, really didn't know the first thing about designing a garment. Luckily, I've now got a fiance who did textiles and design at university, so knows exactly how to build a garment. So made a really good team. So Abby's from Edinburgh, and came up and stayed with me in Aberdeen once we were able to, once the rules allowed it during lockdown, and we were able to start kind of working on Ghillied properly. So Abby, she specialised in woven textiles with her degree at Heriot-Watt at Galashiels. So super passionate about design in particular, and spent and did a really good job designing the current leggings that we've got just now, as well as our new products that I'll tell you about in a wee second. So the Ghillied brand went through a few iterations, plus about a kind of year and a half of development before we launched in September 2021. So we were quite naive, I suppose, starting a business, realizing all the challenges from going from square one in basically building a sustainable business. So we had sustainability at the core of our business from the word go, basically, which meant the odds were stacked against us in terms of sourcing sustainable fabric, which was affordable and didn't have super high minimum order quantities, finding a manufacturer which was affordable, and just being confident in our own supply chain traceability. But we did get there eventually. So traceability was probably the key word for us. So we conducted a lot of market research before we launched, and traceability was one word which almost all of our interviewees cited as probably the biggest thing that they associated with a sustainable brand. So we launched in September 21, so about a year and a half ago now, with a range of sustainable ladies leggings, which are made from Ghillied recycled nylon. So Ghillied fabric, it's very, very high tech, and it's made from primarily recycled fishing nets, but also carpet samples, manufacturing offcuts, and other commercial nylon waste. So Ghillied is actually made in Italy, but has such strong sustainability credentials that we trusted it to hang a big chunk of the Ghillied brand on. The leggings themselves are made in London by a small business, and then hand finished ourselves personally up in Edinburgh. So we put on all the logos, all the labels, so a lot of love and care goes into all of our garments. When we first got the Ghillied fabric, we were amazed, to be honest, at how incredibly soft, supportive, comfortable it was, and really the perfect material for a pair of leggings. Should say as well, they're ladies only, so we do get a lot of requests for guys' leggings. Abby's had me trying on the extra large ones before, but sadly aren't the most flattering things in the world, so don't get seen out in public in those. The process for how they make Ghillied fabric, basically what the factory does is take waste nylon from landfills and the ocean. So what they do is they clean it, shred it, purify it, and then it goes through a process called depolymerization. And the recycled fibre which comes out of the other side of that is pretty much indistinguishable from virgin nylon, which is made from plastics and fossil fuels. So the process actively takes waste from the environment and feeds it back into the production cycle, which creates new products whilst obviously safeguarding the environment from the nasty stuff which is taken out. But importantly with Ghillied as well, once it's finished with, it can be recycled again and again in a closed loop. So that's unlike virgin nylon, which basically it'll go to landfill once it's finished with. So for us, for the business at the moment, our customers absolutely love the fabric and its story, and it's really struck a chord in Scotland in particular, where obviously fishing is a big part of our cultural history. Surprisingly, we found that sales were really strong in person at pop-up stores, where our customers were able to basically engage with Abby and I, hear the fabric story, but also kind of see and touch and feel the products that they're buying, and more importantly, the difference between the fabric that we're using and the fabric from a normal pair of leggings. So moving on from that, sales were our kind of big focus for the first year, really first 12 months or so. But in order to kind of achieve our big vision, we knew that we needed a kind of innovative fabric of our own. So we believe that innovation is really vital to reversing the current climate emergency. So we've got our sights firmly set on a Scottish-made recycled fabric, which would be our kind of foot in the door to creating a circular economy of clothes. So whilst we're doing this, we also had kind of traceability in our thoughts. So that was our kind of big short-term goal as a company, which was to make strides with our own recycled fabric. So for me, who came into COVID with an insurance background, creating your own fabric was easier said than done. So we thought, who better to approach than Edinburgh Napier, which is where I did my business degree. However, we approached their research and innovation team. One researcher in particular really caught my eye, a lady named Sam Vitesse. She had some projects in the past which were things like exploring the viability of using mushrooms to create textiles, and recycling things which are deemed to be non-recyclable according to the logo, but she was still able to recycle them into things like pet bedding. So anyway, we approached Sam directly. She absolutely loved Ghillied, loved their kind of big picture plans. Sam was brilliant. She helped us source some funding to helped us source funding for our research project to help repurpose our old waste garments and offcuts into a new product. So this project began at the end of January, so we're expecting it to be complete over the next couple of weeks. New product is deliberately quite vague because Sam has not worked with our fabric before, so is not sure exactly how the project's going to turn out. But that's quite exciting for us because it's going to mean the product, when it comes out, is going to be completely unique, basically. The process itself, so the project that we're taking part in, basically what's happening is our waste fabric has been pulverized and shredded down, and it's going to be combined with our bioplastic. So that's going to create a new composite material, which will almost be a kind of coarse fiber. So if you imagine like the sort of fiber that like a kilt would be made from, for example. Depending on how this comes out, we're hoping to be able to 3D print this fiber into accessories such as Apple Watch straps, which we can obviously then market again as a business. So yeah, we're hoping to have things like Apple Watch straps, which are basically made from recycled leggings. However, if the material doesn't play ball, then we've got some other options to put in to kind of at the end of the policy, end of the project, sorry, if we need to. So this project is basically with the view of expanding our relationship with Napier in the future and exploring the viability of extruding fibre from things like soft plastics that you might find, kind of food packaging, plastic bags, that sort of thing. And then from there, we're kind of hoping to keep levelling up that until we've got our own kind of Scottish-made recycled fabric that will be very exciting. So basically, our end goal is to have a vertically integrated supply chain in the future in which we can recycle waste textiles and plastic into new clothes, which can then be recycled at the end of their life in a closed cycle. So that's the long-term goal. Short-term, we've got our next phase of growth planned, which is a larger range of both menswear and ladieswear t-shirts, Sherpa jumpers and sweatshirts. So these are all made from recycled polyester from recycled plastic bottles or recycled cotton from waste garments, offcuts, garment rejects, that sort of thing. So yeah, watch the space for these coming over the next kind of couple of months. These are going to be made in Glasgow, so really close to home. But yeah, for the meantime, we've still got leggings available on our website if anyone's interested, and we've also got a sale on at the moment. So yeah, again, watch this space for them. I really just wanted to close, I suppose, by just reiterating our vision for vision as a brand and what really inspires us. So at Ghillied, we basically do what we do because we believe innovation is vital to reversing the current climate emergency. So our vision is to create a circular economy of clothes in a closed loop, meaning textiles and plastic waste getting added to the top, recycled clothes being produced, and then recycled again and again and again once they're finished with. So really, yeah, closing message, I suppose, is when you're buying new clothes, please just make sure that you're doing your research specifically on traceability. So the clothes that you're buying, are the brand absolutely clear on what fabric is used in the garment, and how much of their overall range is actually made from sustainable sources. As a kind of reference point on this, ASOS have about 30% of everything they've got on their platform at the moment to be from sustainable sources. They don't actually say what those sources are, but just as a kind of vague sustainable sources. But yeah, like I say, just make sure you're doing your research, and yeah, just look out on really stories of where garments have come from and just take a bit of a deep dive into it. And even if you find that you're paying more for a sustainable product, it's going to last you probably twice as long as some of the cheaper brands that you're going to get out there. Perfect, that was everything for me. So thanks everyone for listening.